nose 2 weeks ago, but I think 41 yards passing at Iowa. I mean, when you looked at the film, what was the issue, the biggest issue? I'm sure there were many, but.
Well, I mean, there's a couple things. I mean, first of all, anytime your starting quarterback goes out of the game that early, you're going to have issues, particularly playing against a defense that's been highly ranked in the country the last couple of years, probably will be again this year in that environment. You know, it's almost not fair to the backup sometimes because he really gets no reps during the week. We have periods where we split ones and twos, but you know, when you get in the team periods, especially with, you know, in this situation with McLean being a guy who just got here a couple months ago, there's not a lot of reps to go around in practice. So when all of a sudden you got to insert a guy in there that early, you know, you have to go back and kind of lean towards some things that he's comfortable with, and you know, then you're behind and you don't want to do anything to give the ball to them. So there's a lot that goes into kind of how you approach the game from there. I mean, if you watch the games yesterday, it's kind of similar things happen to those people too on Sundays when that happens. So, and I'm not saying it's Art's fault. You know, I mean, I'm just saying as much me as conservative maybe, and trying to be smart with how we proceeded throughout that game. And you know, we just didn't make any plays in the pass game. I'm you know, confident in the guys that because we saw evidence of it the first week. I know obviously that was a much better defense there in Iowa, but you know, I think that was kind of the bye week fell at a good time in terms of now we have a really good feel for, you know, where our guys are, what guys we want to put in what spots, who can do what, you know, really under the gun. And you know, that's kind of what we focused on during the week. You know, I think we missed a few things early that could have, you know, they changed the game. I think there were a couple fundamental plays that we've run over and over again that didn't come off the way we've had them come off. You know, particularly on third down, and then all of a sudden you're kind of chasing the game because now you're behind and you're thinking, well, what are we doing? We have to hit this. We have to hit this. And I think we missed some that were a little bit routine with pressing a little bit, and then all of a sudden it kind of gets away from you. And then when you're playing in a place like that and the score gets to what it does, you know, the game kind of goes away a little bit. So I don't want to overreact and panic on, you know, 1 week. I think, you know, there's plenty of that to go around elsewhere. But I think that the reality is I think we have some, you know, good players that can operate in the pass game, and I think that will improve as we go along. Obviously, it has to. It's the only way you really score. I mean, you're not going to sit there and run the ball 50 times. So, you know, you have to advance the ball in chunks. And I thought our line played well enough to win. I thought the running backs played well enough, you know, in that game. I thought we were able to run the ball effectively enough. You know, nothing ever burst out of there, but at some point, and they're all laying back there, you know, with the lead and the pass game being what it was, you know, we didn't give those guys a lot of help. So obviously the pass game was the shortcoming of the entire game. That's a pretty obvious statement.
If Carter can practice tomorrow and he gets, you know, 4 days out there, how comfortable would you be putting him out there on Saturday knowing that he still missed a lot of time out there?
Yeah, it's you know, that was a big week last week. Obviously, I thought we had 3 really good practices. The players really got after it hard, and really, 3 good practices. So, you know, and the focus being the pass game, and you're sitting there and you don't have the quarterback, you know, the guy you started at quarterback out there. It doesn't help. But I don't think it'll go into, you know, I don't think it'll change their decisions one way or the other. I don't think we just say, oh, he's hurt, he's out, or whatever, he missed that week, so he's out. You know, I think we're day to day as far as finding out where he is. Certainly he wants to play. He's doing everything he can to get out there, but obviously these things have a certain kind of protocol and lifespan of how they take place. So, but I mean, he's a football player. A guy that picked the system up awfully quick. You know, I certainly don't think he forgot it. I think he, you know, would be a little bit rusty the first couple of days of practice, maybe not. I don't know, but he certainly is a guy that's savvy enough, I think, to be able to miss a couple of days and still be able to have a chance to operate in a game.
Is it frustrating? I mean, just from the offense, not being able to get this pass offense, you know, it's been a problem for so long, and then when you see that game, where do you consider an aberration? I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, but is it just, you know, you haven't been able to solve this, you know, since you got here?
Yeah, I just, yeah, I mean, you know, obviously you just start with yourself and think, but you also don't want to go back and reinvent the entire operation. I don't think there's a whole lot of concepts that we're running that, a lot of people run. I mean, it's just the way football is. There's not a whole lot of unique, people kind of all run the same concepts. It's whether or not they have 5 of them or 10 of them or, however many that they fit into a game. But if you watch games anytime on any days from Thursday to Sunday, you kind of see the same stuff. And, either whether it's execution or the timing of the call or the playmaking. I mean, sometimes you watch a lot of plays that don't come off even remotely close to what they're designed to, and a guy just bumps off someone and makes a one-handed catch, and you're like, oh, that's a good play. Or the quarterback scrambles all over the place and chunks it, and that's a good play. So, I thought we saw glimpses in the first game of things that we could do, whether on schedule and off schedule, pressed up and man, running through zones. You saw kind of the whole gambit of the things that have to happen. In the first game, you really didn't see it in the second game. I don't know if that means you're not going to see it for the 10 game. I don't know. We'll see as we go. Certainly we try to hone in on what we do best with the guys that we think do it the best. But that's what we kind of do every week. And then, at some point you got to put them out there and see how it goes. That's all you can do. I think we've I like what we had planned. Some of the stuff we kind of got away from when Art went it because he really didn't get a chance to do our game plan specific. But I think we'll have a good plan for Boston College. But in the end, we got to make these plays. I mean, I don't know what else to. We got to execute them and make them. We got to give them better calls. However you want to say it. At some point, some of these plays have to happen.
2008, where you were 1-5, and then all of a sudden, Pittsburgh game, it just everything
Right.
clicked. And then do you see signs of that? I mean, during the bye week, do you see signs of it just all of a sudden clicking
Well,
on
like
it?
I said, we had. I mean, there's like 3-4 play. You just don't know how these games turn like that, especially in that environment against a team like that. We had a hitch. We didn't hit. We had a guy on a roll. It's right there. We don't hit it. We had a guy Raheem up the seam where last week we hit it. It's a touchdown. This week it kind of skips to him. Whatever the reasons that and there are a couple others. I mean, so you're sitting there with 4 or 5 plays within a quarter, and maybe a couple more minutes where you go, we didn't hit any of them. So and who knows where the game goes from there. The second, third down of the game to me should have been an easy, but and then things kind of spiral the other way when you're playing a good team when you don't make any of them. So I think we're certainly capable of doing it. I'm confident that we'll end up doing it. I don't want to have the sky falling because they're not going to cancel the games. I mean, I think we've shown enough capability that we can do those things. Whatever reason we didn't start out doing them, and then the game kind of gets away. But I watched, and I'm not trying to. I watched the Eagles game last night. The guy's got a 6 rating at halftime. He comes to the second half. He looks like the best player to ever play. Like sometimes guys get in the flow of the game. So I don't want to take like a little snapshot of McLean's play and go, well, that's it. Or say, Art being thrown in there without really a whole lot of practice. Well, he wasn't effective. I mean, they all have kind of their own reasons. You watch the tape, and it's never as awful as you think it is. You look how close you are. But until you make them, it sounds like excuse making and whatever. But I think we can make those plays. I think I think you'll see it as we go through the season.
The injuries at tight end, how much has that changed what you're trying to do? Because last year we saw them use, in such abundance, and this year, you're limited on guys.
Yeah, I mean it's put a burden a little bit on some other guys, but I think they're capable of doing it. Whether Raheem's had to play multiple roles. There's some. Davon Robinson's had to play kind of multiple roles. Is he a tight end? Is he a receiver? He's inside and outside. He's kind of got to have a handle on a lot of those things. Brandon Myers has come in and played some stuff. So really, and Matt is a good receiver and has shown, he'll catch the ball. He certainly doesn't get nervous, and he's played extremely well for us in a couple games. I mean, he did a good job the other day, even with 94. I mean, he's a good football player. It's amazing. The guy just walked in here, and he's playing really well for us. But, you certainly would like to have a little more presence and maybe a couple more guys in that spot, whether, John Lewis obviously was going to be a big guy that would be tough to handle for anybody. And then when you put both of them on the field, you put conflicts as to are they going to play sub-defense or regular defense? Is this guy a receiver? Is he a blocker? What is, so it's restricted us a little bit. It's made us kind of go in a different direction schematically in terms of how laying out the plan and what we're basing a lot of our start of our plays with. So it's changed. I think it's changed us a pretty significant amount.
I know your opportunities are limited against Iowa. Are you okay with too heavy toward Bo in the passing game? You want to see more distribution to the other receivers? Or are you okay with it kind of being tilted towards Bo?
No, I just think sometimes that's how it fell. Or we planned it, some things to try to get the ball to him, and didn't really work out. So I guess it's just kind of the way the plan came out. I don't know if it'll be the same this week or not. I do think we have more guys that we can rely on. I think we certainly don't have to just rely on one guy. I mean, I've talked in here before about, I like a lot of these young guys, Paul Woods and Isaiah Washington, and, Aaron Young is a guy who's a capable back and a receiver. Raheem obviously can play receiver, so, Jabby's made plays for us. We really just haven't got a chance to get some of these other guys going, Shameen and Isaiah. I mean, there's only so many in there, and especially when you're trying to, at times trying to keep Raheem and Isaiah out there as much as possible, that takes a spot from them at times too. So, it's, again, in 2 games, the first game it was like, okay, everything came off the way you wanted it. These guys got it 20 times each. Bo hit some big plays, and away you go. Then the second game, like I said, if we could have just operated straight up, I liked the way we were running the ball. I thought we had at least enough going on there that we were going to give ourselves a chance. But certainly, if you can't throw the ball, you don't have much of a chance.
I guess, what did you see from Kansas? I know they had a lot of success running the ball out of the gun. Do you kind of feel like this is a good
those
Isaiah
backs are
Raheem
good
game?
players. I mean, it's a similar. I obviously we saw Puka front and center a year ago, and the other guy's pretty darn good as well. So they were able to make a lot of plays, to run hard. I thought their guys played hard. I think Boston College played hard. They play hard in every game. I mean, they that's the trademark of that team, since Steve's been there, really since before, for a long time. But I just say if you take it in this snapshot, since Steve's been there, they're going to play hard on every snap of every play. And so that was a heck of a football game. And some of their guys were able to make, more plays than BC on that night. So, but there's certainly a lot to be garnered from it, because you're sitting there in a game where you have 2 good running backs, and how did they attack them? And they obviously had a ton of success. They had one of those nights where everything kind of hit for them.
Got to be okay to ask one more.
Okay, that's right.
Boston College, 6 INTs leading the ACC. Are they opportunistic? I mean, what do you see from just the ability to get interceptions?
Sure, they're good. I mean, they constantly, relentlessly pressure you. They do a lot of blitzing and stunning, and to turn guys loose. And when those guys get on edges in pass rush, or they get a chance on a running back, or they get, they create havoc for the quarterback and his timing and his ability to kind of get it out. It makes the guy a little bit off balance, off schedule, or whatever it might be to throw. And then on the back end, they take full advantage of it. They're well coordinated back there in terms of what spots they're in. And so if you miss it all, or tip ball at all, or whatever, they're there. I mean, they're always right there, and they have good ball skills and make plays on the ball. So, that goes back to last year. I think last year they were very opportunistic. Same thing. Teams were moving the ball on them. They get in the red zone, they throw an interception. And you watch the next series, they go right down the field, they throw an interception. I mean, that was a common theme in a lot of games that they played last year, and it's showing up again this year. And certainly, conversely, it's been a problem for us, throwing it to the other team. So that is that is every week a number one concern. But certainly, when you have a team that lives off of it, and that's something that you need to be better at, that's a number one in terms of the concerns going into this week. All right, thanks, guys.